You might feel more tense, more easily agitated, more forgetful, or more tired even after a full night's sleep. The older we get, the easier it is for these imbalances to build up. Magnesium levels naturally drop as we age because our bodies absorb less and our kidneys excrete more. Add to that the fact that modern diets, even healthy ones, often fall short. Coffee, alcohol, stress, and certain medications all deplete magnesium levels. So, for most men over 50, the decline isn't because of neglect. It's because the body's demands quietly change, while our habits stay the same. This is why taking magnesium at night works almost like a reset button. You give your body a resource it's been quietly asking for, right at the time it needs it most. When your head hits the pillow, your muscles can release their tension. Your mind can slow its pace. Your heart rate can lower naturally, and your breathing deepens. Over time, this nightly ritual becomes something more than a supplement. It becomes a signal of self-care, a reminder that you're taking ownership of how you age. There's another layer to this conversation that often goes unspoken: sexual health. For many men, changes in potency or performance can be one of the first signs that their internal balance is shifting. It's not just about physical strength. It's about circulation, hormone regulation, and nervous system health. Magnesium supports all three. It improves endothelial function, which is how blood vessels relax and allow better blood flow. It also enhances how the body uses nitric oxide, a molecule that's essential for healthy sexual function. When you combine that with better sleep and lower cortisol levels, you create an environment where natural testosterone production can thrive again. That's why some men report not only better rest, but also renewed energy and confidence in other areas of life. It's subtle at first. You start feeling more engaged. You recover faster from exercise. You feel calmer in stressful moments. So these are signs that your body is operating from a place of strength instead of survival. But none of this happens overnight. The men who get the most from magnesium are the ones who stick with it, who treat it as part of their nightly rhythm, rather than a quick fix. It's consistency that builds results, just like with exercise or nutrition. If you give your body time to restore its levels, usually within a few weeks, you'll start to feel the difference. Not a rush, not a jolt. It's just a steady sense of balance coming back. It's also worth mentioning that magnesium supports heart health in a way that's especially relevant for men in their 50s and beyond. It helps regulate blood pressure, supports a steady heartbeat, and prevents calcium buildup in arteries. That's a long-term benefit that goes far beyond just feeling more energetic. It's about protecting the foundation of your health. If you've ever noticed that your heart rate takes longer to settle after climbing stairs or doing a quick workout, that's your cardiovascular system asking for help. Magnesium can be part of that help. It helps the heart muscle contract and relax efficiently. It keeps blood vessels supple and responsive. It even supports the electrical impulses that control rhythm. Think of it as oiling the hinges of the most important muscle in your body. Beyond the physical, there's a mental clarity that starts to return when you give your body what it's missing. Magnesium affects neurotransmitters like serotonin and GABA, which influence mood and focus. Low magnesium can make you feel more irritable or foggy, even if you're getting enough sleep. That fog can creep into motivation and productivity, areas that men often overlook because they chalk it up to stress or age. When magnesium brings those systems back into balance, you feel steadier and more focused. And here's something few people realize. Magnesium helps reduce inflammation throughout the body. Chronic, low-grade inflammation is one of the main reasons aging feels harder than it should. It's linked to everything from joint stiffness to heart disease. By calming that inflammatory response, magnesium helps your cells work more efficiently. The result is often subtle. You might notice your joints ache less, your recovery from workouts improves, or your digestion feels smoother. If you combine magnesium supplementation with mindful habits like stretching before bed or turning off screens earlier, you'll multiply the effects. Your sleep will deepen, and you'll start waking up with more mental and physical strength. It's not magic. It's biology responding to consistency. I've spoken with men who describe this as getting their spark back, not in a dramatic, overnight way, but as a gradual return of presence. They stop feeling like they're dragging their bodies through the day. They laugh more. They handle pressure better. They notice their patience returning. These are the things that magnesium quietly gives back when the body is nourished and balanced. And even though we're talking about one vitamin, the real message here is about simplicity. It's easy to get lost in the noise of health trends. One week it's superfoods, the next it's some new miracle extract. But often, what your body really needs is far simpler than the marketing suggests. A return to the basics, a focus on essential nutrients, steady sleep, movement, and hydration. If you think about it, magnesium represents that idea perfectly. It's not a trend. It's been part of the human story all along, quietly doing its work in every heartbeat and every breath. But modern life, with its stress, processed foods, and fast pace, has made it easy to forget. So in a sense, taking magnesium isn't adding something new. It's restoring something ancient that your body still depends on. Some men find that after a month or two, they sleep through the night without waking. They stop needing that extra afternoon coffee. Their energy feels smoother throughout the day. Their workouts improve, and their recovery time shortens. Others notice that their mood is lighter, that they handle conflict with more calm. These changes don't shout, they whisper. They build a foundation of health that supports everything else you want to do. There's also a connection between magnesium and how the body handles glucose and insulin. Stable blood sugar levels mean more consistent energy, fewer cravings, and better focus. For men in midlife, that's huge because the risks of insulin resistance and metabolic slowdown start to rise. Supporting your system with magnesium is like tuning an engine so it runs efficiently again. When you pair that with mindful nutrition, more leafy greens, nuts, seeds, whole grains, you're not just supplementing, you're nourishing. Magnesium works best when it's part of a lifestyle that respects your body's rhythms. Eating balanced meals, keeping stress under control, moving daily, and giving yourself proper rest all reinforce what that one vitamin is trying to help your body achieve. It's easy to underestimate something as small as a capsule. But if you think of it as a nightly reminder, a gesture that says, I'm taking care of myself now, it becomes more meaningful. It becomes part of how you age on your own terms. Because potency, vigor, and deep sleep aren't just signs of youth, they're signs of balance, strength, and inner stability. Your body is remarkably resilient. Even if you've neglected it for years, it can bounce back when you start giving it what it needs. Magnesium is one of those quiet helpers that makes that possible. It doesn't demand attention. It just does its work, night after night, helping you wake up a little more restored, a little stronger, a little more alive than the day before. And that's what this is really about. Creating a version of yourself that feels at home in your own body again. Every night you take that vitamin, you're not just supporting your sleep. You're investing in strength, calm, and presence that carries through every part of your life. Because aging doesn't have to mean slowing down or fading out. It can mean refining, deepening, and becoming more steady in your power. And if that starts with something as simple as magnesium, taken quietly before bed, then it's a reminder that real strength doesn't always come from big gestures. Sometimes it starts in the quiet moments when you decide to take care of yourself, not out of fear of getting older, but out of respect for the life and energy still ahead of you. When you start paying attention to your health in a deliberate way, something changes, not just in how you feel physically, but in how you think about time. you realize that every night is an opportunity. You can either end your day by carrying its weight into tomorrow or by letting your body recharge fully. That's what magnesium helps you do. It gives you the ability to close the door on the day, to put stress down, and to let your body's natural systems take over and repair. It's a kind of quiet renewal that builds slowly. The first week, you might notice you fall asleep a little faster. The second week, you start sleeping through the night. A few weeks later, you find that you wake up before your alarm, not groggy, not dragging yourself out of bed, but clear, rested, ready. You don't have to rely on caffeine to kickstart the day. You feel sharper without forcing it. That's the kind of steady transformation magnesium supports. The science behind it is fascinating. Magnesium interacts with receptors in your brain that regulate sleep, particularly the GABA receptors. GABA is a neurotransmitter that promotes calmness and reduces neural activity. Without enough magnesium, those receptors don't function properly, which means your brain stays slightly alert even when you're trying to sleep. You're technically resting, but not deeply. Magnesium restores that function, allowing your brain to reach the deep, slow-wave sleep stages where real restoration happens. Deep sleep is also when testosterone production peaks. That's another reason magnesium taken at night is so effective. It indirectly supports healthy hormone balance by improving the quality of rest. It's a cycle that feeds itself. Better sleep supports hormones, and balanced hormones improve sleep. Together, they create a stronger sense of vitality. And this vitality isn't limited to the gym or the bedroom. It shows up in your focus, your decision-making, your mood. When your sleep deepens and your stress hormones lower, your body doesn't operate from a place of fatigue anymore. You make better choices. You feel more patient. You think more clearly under pressure. Over time, you start to notice that your body feels lighter, not necessarily because of weight loss, but because tension no longer hangs in your muscles. Magnesium helps regulate calcium in muscle tissue, preventing unnecessary contractions. That means fewer cramps, less stiffness, and smoother movement. You don't wake up feeling like you slept in the wrong position or like your back is made of concrete. Instead, there's an ease in your body that reminds you of how you used to feel years ago. This mineral also plays an underrated role in how your digestive system functions. It supports peristalsis, the natural movement of your intestines, and keeps things regular without forcing it. Constipation is a common, quiet problem among men over 50, often brushed off as a normal part of aging. But magnesium keeps the gut running smoothly, which affects everything from nutrient absorption to energy levels. A body that digests well functions well. Then there's the heart. Magnesium is deeply tied to cardiovascular health. It regulates the heartbeat, supports the elasticity of blood vessels, and helps maintain steady blood pressure. Studies have shown that magnesium deficiency is linked to an increased risk of heart disease. But when your levels are optimal, your cardiovascular system works with less strain. Your heart doesn't have to fight as hard. Your circulation improves, your endurance improves, and your overall stamina increases. The relationship between magnesium and insulin sensitivity is another layer worth understanding. As men age, it becomes easier for the body to store fat and harder to use glucose efficiently. Magnesium helps improve insulin sensitivity, which means your cells use energy more effectively instead of storing it. That's a quiet but powerful shift. It reduces the risk of metabolic issues and helps stabilize energy levels throughout the day. What's so remarkable about all of this is how simple it really is. We live in a world where wellness has become complicated. People chase exotic supplements, extreme diets, and impossible routines. Yet one of the most effective ways to support potency, vigor, and rest is through something basic your body has always needed. Magnesium isn't a discovery. It's a reminder. Taking it at night becomes more than just a supplement routine. It's a signal to yourself that your health still matters. It's an act of consistency that begins to shape your identity, You start to see yourself as someone who takes care of his body, who respects his energy, who values longevity not as a number, but as quality. And when that mindset takes hold, other things begin to shift naturally. You start drinking more water. You choose better food. You move your body more. You go to bed earlier because you like how good it feels to wake up rested. These aren't dramatic changes. They're quiet, steady ones that build on each other, until one day you realize you feel strong again. You might even notice how your stress tolerance changes. Situations that used to throw you off your balance don't anymore. You stay calm when others react. You recover faster from disappointments or long days. That's not just emotional maturity. It's biochemistry working for you. When magnesium calms your nervous system, it keeps your fight or flight response from taking over. It gives your mind the pause it needs to stay grounded. There's also something deeply personal about restoring your physical balance at this stage in life. After 50, health becomes less about chasing goals and more about preservation. Keeping what you've built, maintaining what matters, and staying connected to yourself. Magnesium quietly supports that process. It helps you stay steady while life keeps moving fast around you. And even though it's just one vitamin, it represents something bigger. The idea that small actions can hold tremendous power. The same way a good night's sleep can change how you see the entire day, one simple supplement can ripple through every system in your body. You don't need a dozen products or a complicated plan. You need consistency, patience, and awareness. It's worth mentioning, too, that magnesium pairs beautifully with other nighttime rituals. If you stretch, read, or meditate before bed, you're reinforcing the same signal to your body: relax, slow down, restore. Add magnesium to that mix, and your body gets both the chemical and behavioral cues it needs to let go. That combination of intention and physiology is where real change happens. Over time, the difference between someone who takes this seriously and someone who doesn't is striking. One wakes up rested, moves fluidly, and faces the day with focus. The other drags through mornings, leans on caffeine, and never quite feels caught up. The difference isn't luck or genetics. It's attention to the details that quietly sustain life. And for men over 50, those details matter more than ever. The body doesn't bounce back as easily, but it still responds remarkably well when given what it needs. You don't have to accept fatigue or restless nights as inevitable. You can choose to rebuild. And sometimes that transformation starts with something as simple as taking one vitamin before bed.